Mic check. Hello.
Radio check. No, nothing.
Yeah, we're live. So everyone, welcome to the LMU pre-season race. So today we are joined with Aaradhya, Andy, and Nitro as our streamer, and I'm your host, DarkKnight. So, Andy, what are your thoughts on today's race in Spa?
I mean, it is a classic racetrack, and I'm really excited to see how drivers trade off between, management, which sector is going to be the one where they'll use their precious energy on, which is the sector where they'll have to defend the most. And most importantly, it's that all of these sectors make for fantastic racing and endurance racing as compared to, open wheel series. We're going to see a lot of defensive moves into. Oh, you have your Eau Rouge, you have Radion, into your bus stop chicane, Blanchimont if someone's a little bit more daring. So certainly a lot of action out there on track for us to see today, and it is very exciting.
Mic
But
off.
what is your thought,
Mic
Dark Knight?
on.
What do you think is going to be the leading thought
Mic
process
off.
in their stint choices going into this race?
I mean, in this race, the one good thing about this race is the track is about 7 kilometers long. There's about 100 meters of elevation change, so it is like a roller coaster. But at the same time, it's going to be a pile up. We have seen in multiple races, whether it's been in GT racing or in F1, we have seen how close the racing can be. So this time we'll see how the drivers get on. Obviously, last season we had a great season opener uh, with so many drivers. I mean, we had Athul who won the LMU championship, the season one championship, and also there are other drivers to look out for. So yeah, I think it's going to be really, really exciting to watch out for all these drivers.
Yup. And as you mentioned, a pileup is a very big thing that can happen here, especially going into your first corner and there on thereabout, because the track does get narrower through sector 2. You can't go side by side with these endurance racing cars. That is one bit of an issue. So a pileup is certainly something that can happen, and the track is a high speed track at certain sections, so you have to be a bit careful with how you position the car, how you pull the throttle, and basically everything. You have to be at your best senses. As you mentioned, there's a lot of elevation change in this track, so something that's very important is that this track is something that will keep you on your toes from turn 1 all the way through turn 19. You can't blink for a single second. That's the beauty of Spa, in my opinion.
Yeah, and I think we'll get to see. Obviously, it's we are looking out for watching out for the new drivers, also the older drivers who have been here. So it's going to be a good mix. We might see a difference in strategy. Some might even choose to start at the back of the grid. So we'll see how it turns out. I'm obviously excited to watch. So let's see who gets pole this time. Also, last season towards the end, we did see drivers like ABD who were let's say in the mid pack, but they were starting to fight in the front. So I don't know if he's racing today, but if he is, I think we'll have to watch out for him.
Absolutely. I mean, you never know who's going to pick what. Some people will sacrifice their starting position for a better stint. Some people might go the opposite. It just goes to what would you prefer and what your strength of driving aligns in. And I think the best part about today, or some would say the worst part, is that we've got a clear race and a clear qualifying ahead of us. So maybe that removes a little bit of the fun that Spa sometimes offers in terms of weather. But you never know what the weather can throw up here. That's one thing I've seen, especially last year. If you look at F1, what happened? The weather changed in and out, and it destroyed a lot of drivers. What thoughts they took, starting from the pit lane and everything. But yeah, overall, I'm very excited towards the action and towards all the racing we'll get to see. I genuinely think endurance racing is something that provides a lot more pure racing excitement and lot of action as compared to open wheel nowadays. I'm very excited for what's to come.
Yeah, and with these cars running with very low wings, obviously it's as quick as this track is, you have to be very mentally focused. A small mistake and and you are into the wall or into the gravel. So these drivers have to watch out for that. and we have seen the traffic in lap one. So you could if you get in the flow, then you are doing really well. And if you make a tiny mistake and you lose that flow, it ends up becoming a snowball. So it's going to be exciting, and let's watch out for the drivers heading into qualifying.
Absolutely. Just one thing, Daki. What's your most, if you have raced on this track, and I'm sure you have, what's your least favorite part of it?
I think maybe it's just me. I think as much as I love this track, this is my favorite track. But it is long. Obviously, in GT cars, it takes a little bit of time. But yeah, we did an endurance race with Aaradhya a few months back. We did a 12 hours endurance race, and yeah, it was fun. And we did get into some, let's say, obstacles in the way, and mostly it was on top of Radion. So you lose a little bit of focus. You go hit the wall, and it
Yeah.
does become a bit of a pain. But nevertheless, I think we did have a great race. We did finish P6 in that race, and yeah, it to me it is still the greatest track. No matter what goes on, the ups and downs. I think that's what's the fun of this track.
I think the fun of this track, as you mentioned, very rightly so, it is a difficult and a very long track to drive. A lot of people, and in the real world, I've heard people say this, that Spa is an even more unforgiving track than obviously the classic Le Mans. It is the race that you have to be good at if you want to race in the 24 hours of Le Mans. It is an unforgiving track. That's the whole reason why Spa is what it is in any series you go. Even in real life, we have seen fatal accidents happen there. Sadly, lost an F2 driver there as well. So thankfully, in that time, we've already seen a lot of safety come up. But obviously, we're in the virtual world. Nothing with regards to that. But yeah, this is an unforgiving track, and let's see who are the people who test its limits today, because I am confident a few people will test their brakes into the first corner today. So that's something I am eagerly waiting for.
Exactly, and no matter how virtual the cars are, the racing is real. And one thing we do find in IRC is good racing. And as the drivers keep on doing more and more races, they get faster and faster, get better and better. So right now we are heading towards the qualifying. You can see all the cars are lining up. They're going to make sure they have enough of a gap so that they don't impede each other. So, who do you think, obviously with the older drivers, experienced drivers who are there on the race, who do you think is going to get the pole?
This is honestly a very hands. It's a very special because all bets are off, but I think you can't rule out the old dogs. Just as you said, ABD is racing, as we can see, he is in the United Autosports McLaren there, so you can't rule him out. Definitely, he will be running pole unless he has something different in mind. We do have Sandeep Marino as well, who's racing this Commodus, is Inception Racing, but yeah. You can't count these out, but I mean, I would love to see a surprise pole sitter definitely, because we know the old dogs and we know how they race and their strategy to an extent, but someone new on the horizon is always exciting.
I think Motu and Kana are racing. Obviously, they have been doing a lot of LMU in the past few weeks. So I think it's going to go to them. So yeah, I'll be watching out for them, obviously. And yeah, and like you said, Sandeep, obviously there's there's ABD. I mean, they're also racing today. So let's see how they also do as well. Yeah.
Just watching these cars on a flying lap is just so exhilarating, even when you're not in the driver's seat. Just seeing them go up and down the elevation, you have to be absolutely dialed in when you do that. So it just genuinely gives me chills sometimes when I see that. I've had a few offs here, unfortunately, when I've driven in open wheel, obviously virtual world itself. So I know how much of a hard thing it is to go through this track, and hats off to the people who do it in real life and the people who do it in the virtual sims too. There's a lot of prep that goes into this. Mentioned drivers do 12, 16, 17 hour endurance races to prep for these official championships as well. So that is something interesting. Yeah, as we can see, cars are now crossing the line. You will continue their prep laps. Is there anyone going for a lap right now is a question. I don't think anybody will be starting a lap in the first one itself. We'll prep for 2. I think that's the better strategy. And ABD
No, they are going for lap.
They are going for
ABD
laps at the moment.
and Faizan, okay, oh no, ABD. He did go on the gravel. So yeah, I mean that's it. You can see how sensitive these cars are, and last season we had a lot of drivers driving the Beamer. This time many have chosen to go for the McLaren. So McLaren is a very, very different car, and we get to see how these guys tackle with the new car underneath them.
In every single car is completely different dynamic. I remember last time we were racing at the Hungaro ring, and we were just talking about the difference of the cars, between the Mustangs, the Porsches, your BMWs. Every car just behaves so differently, and when you swap from one to the other, it's like a whole different thing. So that's why some drivers are very, very loyal to their cars, and this year we've seen people shift to the McLarens. I'm interested to see why. Could be there's a significant advantage. Maybe it is easier to drive. As someone who's not in the GT3 world, I wouldn't be the right person to tell you about that. I think DarkKnight, you would be the leading authority on that here. I am here for the racing and the fun that's about to come. If we have anybody in a time lap, would be lovely to go on board them.
Yeah, and we just have some first few people coming across the line. Arjulia with this stonking lap just did a 220.2 just across the line in the Porsche.
Oh, okay. And we also saw one thing we did see was ABD giving way for I think it was who's ahead of him?
Motwan, yeah, in the Beamer,
yeah. Oh, we can also see a Beamer in the gravel in the back. So yeah, I think everyone is starting to push. Obviously, the tires are a bit cold at the first lap. They're getting up to 10. So there is a chance, there's a big chance of understeer. And we can see Faizan is also off at the bus stop chicane. So yeah, these things do matter to get the tires up to 10s and to leave a gap while going for a lap, because when you do make mistakes like that, it's important for you on your driving end to not get impeded by someone. And at the same time, if you do make a mistake, you don't want to be impeding someone. So yeah, we can see Faizan right now, he's getting a small slipstream from ABD. We'll see how this lap goes ahead. And and we can see one car exiting. Oh no, that is a crash.
Got yellows waved, and that's the lap, I think, gone right there. I think he will have lifted. That's a lap gone. I think even for ABD, I think ABD was on a flyer as well, so he's going to have to nurse his tires home for another lap before he gets to start one. So that's the problematic thing about Spa, right? You could be having a fantastic lap, someone in Blanchimont just ruins it for you, and it's a very long racetrack, so to add to ruin.
Yeah, you don't get a lot of laps here. You are absolutely right. You do not get a lot of laps in Spa. You have to be very careful. Now we can see, I think we are on the POV of ABD right now, and we could see both of them fighting for track position over the lap. And that's the thing, when you have a faster driver behind, if the gap isn't enough, they're going to eventually catch up to you. So let's see how this goes. I think for ABD right now, I think he needs to keep, abort this lap, keep a certain gap, and then go for another run. And I'm sure these guys will do well enough.
Absolutely, I agree with you on that. I think just open up the gap a little bit to, I think that's Faizan ahead of him.
Yeah.
Open up the gap a little bit more, make sure that you don't have anyone just coming behind you. If they are, just let them go. If you're lucky, they'll give you a nice slipstream and then you can go off, because anyone ahead of you, or you always run the risk of them going off You don't know, it could be on purpose, it could be just because they're just not able to conquer it. So I hope ABD can put a clean lap in so that he can get a time on the board. It would be great to see an entire lap on board. And DarkKnight, if we do go on board, you can take us through the lap.
Yeah, so we are watching Athul right now, who is the current the defending champion of LMU, and we can see him going up to Radion. And the thing with this track is that track limits is very difficult. You could be just over the line and you have to lift up so much. So it's imperative that you get the line right, because, and we can see Athul going off. I think he missed his braking point right there. And everyone, it's been a while since the last season, so everyone is getting up to speed. So we will see a couple of offs here and there, but that doesn't mean they have lost any of their skills. They are just getting up to their speed.
I think we can officially announce that Commentator's curse is active, because the last two cars we went on board lost their flying lap.
Exactly.
It is active at the moment. We're back in the season with Commentator's curse once again. For anyone watching, we're just hoping we don't switch to the onboard view at this point. I don't know the car we're on board right now. I think just can't recall. I remember who was driving this. I just can't recall. But it's a McLaren, and I think he is on a flyer at the moment. Is he?
Aaradhya, who is the car at bus stop? Could you let us know?
No, he is not on a flyer.
He
has just pitted.
Now. Yeah.
Maybe a minor change. What's our lap? What's our positions like? Oh, he's just lost a little bit of time there, I think. So as we're on board a flying lap here, you can just see how DarkKnight mentioned it is trouble keeping the car within limits, and through this corner is just a long corner that you have to ensure that you don't step on the throttle a little too much, and you have to balance it out through here. Quick turn to the left, lift a little, push through here all the way down. Then you've got Puhan, a very high speed corner. Some drivers choose to take a little bit of a wider line through there. Some drivers lift and take it tighter so that they can get a faster exit. It all depends on what kind of car you're driving and what kind of a driver you are. So it's dynamic through there. And this track is a bit enticing in the sense that it'll say push more, oops, track limits. So careful when you're running your qualifying laps, else you'll be caught out. And there's plenty to be caught out by. As mentioned, you've got gravel, you've got the walls, and of course you've got your painted lines. And I think he's managing this fairly well at the moment. He's being cautious. I wouldn't say he's flirting the gaps a lot. Now, as we can see, he is going to approach Blanchimon at full speed through here. He's going to go through the gears.
And he's already, I think he's setting his first competitive lap. And let's see as he crosses the line what time he does. Okay, so it's a 2:21.5. That's his lap time.
Aaradhya, can you give us a position update?
Yep, so we have Arsurala in P2, Hardik Parry Motomoto, the winner of the previous season in P2, SSK in new person P3 in Ferrari, Araf Shokan in P4, Faizan P5, Asher P6, Jay Patil P7, Njoji P8, Kanak P9, and M. Srivastava P10 to round off the top 10.
Okay, so and what is the pole lap?
The pole lap is a 2:19.454.
Wow, so that's an incredible lap, and we can see the drivers are getting faster and faster. I think a few months back, I don't think we would have hit the 219s. Now we're hitting the 219s. So I think it's a great result, and it's a great grid. And let's see how the race begins.
Absolutely. I mean, the drivers some of them were a little bit over the place when they started, but have been managing pretty well. I mean, I can't say that I'm not impressed at all. I am impressed by the pole lap time and how the drivers got on as well. I mean, you are just coming out to race here, and that's what's the best part of IRC. Everyone's passionate here to race.
Yeah, and till I think till the race begins, I'll just give you some spa facts. Uh, by the way, the Camel Straight was actually added after a track modification in the 1970s. So before that, it wasn't there. And also another thing was that from the 20s till the 70s, the track was about 14 kilometers long, and then as it got modified throughout the years, it's currently at 7 kilometers, so it's half the distance. So yeah, I think the current layout right now I think is much better, because I don't think with the old layout it would be that fun considering it was 14 kilometers.
I mean, you can debate that. Some drivers would enjoy the 14 kilometers because it's a game of how long you can keep your eye on the ball. How long
Yeah.
can you actually persist through it? Some drivers would say, you know what, I am going to weather through this whole thing. You can't do that, and that's where I'm going to win. And I think it's all about a test of how focused you are. And I think Spa as a track tests that, and I think it's the best test of driver focus.
Mhm.
Among a lot of tracks, I think Spa is a very versatile track as it is. But I think it's among the best if you want to test how focused or how dialed in a driver can be. This is the best track to be.
Okay, so we are now starting to pull up. Now everyone will be in a, in a sequential formation.
Interestingly, we have 5 drivers starting from the pit lane. The top two, and along with Ashrey and few others that have opted to start from the pit lane. So it will be interesting to see how they get the race start.
Yeah, exactly. I think we did discuss it before the event started that we would see some drivers starting from the pits. Obviously, they would avoid some of the chaos that is going to happen. But it depends. Sometimes it doesn't work out because you do end up a little bit far behind, and then you're trying to play catch up. So it depends. It's risk versus reward, and let's see how the drivers go through.
It will be interesting to see from where Atul and Sandeep are, how far Atul and Sandeep are able to get up to, because right now they might be in P30 and P31 respectively. We all know they don't belong there. They have far more skill, so it will be interesting to see how far they can get up the field.
Absolutely. And Dark Knight, you can take us to the start for this.
Yeah.
Green flag.
Green flag, and here we go. And we already have contact, and I guess that is Faizan who has made that contact. And we see everyone lining up to turn one. Oh, and there is a spin. There is a spin, and a car has been caught up right there. It's been a pretty much clean getaway except for that. But now we see all the drivers go up. So let's see if we do get to see any events here, and it looks pretty clean. Could we go on board with any cars on the chemistry, please? Yeah, now we can see Arav, who has been really quick. He did finish two in Lemon last season, the final of the season. He's currently leading the race. If I'm not wrong, Aaradhya?
I don't remember myself from top of my head as well, but I'm pretty sure he was it.
No, right now in the race.
So right now in race, Arav Shokant is leading. Oxygen on the controller is currently leading the race, followed by Jay Patel and N. Joji, Chronicle Drop 3.
And can we see where Atul and Sandeep is? They did start P13 onwards. So we can see Atul. We can see Atul who's lining up a move. and he chooses not to make that move.
In this track, you have to place your car perfectly to make it here, and he just does not have the gap there to make anything go. And there's a little bit of the rear steps out just a little bit. You have to be a little bit clear, but I think there will be a decent slipstream all the way to the bus stop chicane where he can try and make a move either into the bus stop chicane or exiting the bus stop chicane, because after that it's all a game of your entry and exit out of the sauce. And then I think he is going to line up a move. I think he is going to now break the red BMW, and I think he's going to try and make it around the outside, and he successfully has, I think, unless Beamer can pull up a move. And no, I think he's going to pick off 2 cars in one go. That's a wonderful move.
Wonderful move. So yeah, that's how it is. You pick up a great slipstream, you outbreak the cars, and right now he's making up a lot of positions, even though he started 13, and we know how quick Athul is. That P13 is not representative of his pace, and I think for him it's going to be fun because he'd be able to overtake a lot of cars.
Yep, a lot of action to be seen here, and I think he's got a decent exit through La Sauce. Not something great, but I think he can overtake Gilbert ahead of him. It might take a little bit help, but no, I don't think he's going to be able to get the move done. But you have got the rest of the lap. You don't know who's going to make a mistake into Lecom, and I think Gilbert could not break as well as Athul did. Unfortunately, this part of the track is somewhere where you really can't make much of a move. You will have to wait till Puhon, or there's a yellow flag. I think there's been an incident, or is it clear?
Okay, and will we make a move on the outside? No, we cannot. So yeah, these are places to overtake, especially in GT, because we have seen this throughout many of the races that happened before. Not necessarily in the IRC race, but in many of the social races that have happened.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen people come up with some very innovative moves, some very absurd places, but I mean, people have pulled them off cleanly. So full credit to them when it's due, and I think Vanmal is trying to line up a move on the Beamer that's just ahead of him, and I don't think that's something very out of the blue to do. I think he can do it, but just cannot let the Beamer pull away. This is an easy move which he can pull off into the bus stop chicane. Once again, he can pick off that Beamer, and if he's lucky, he can pick off the car ahead. We've got a car going into the gravel. I think that is Bhaskar, who just gone off his outbreak or missed the braking point there, and I think
he has the safety rejoin.
He's there.
That's it. These guys are pushing very hard. Tires are getting up to temperature, and they're starting to push, trying to gain positions, and obviously after this, now going alongside Jay Thomas, and he has made the move on him, and we can also see, we can also see the Porsche behind him. He's also trying to make that move himself, trying to wait out for Athul and Afsan. Athul is going to be chasing Thompson.
He is picking off that car down the Camel Straight. I can give you that in written. He is just a man on a mission through here. He has
and Athul,
I think that's Athul.
We have cursed Athul. Oh my god. I think the commentator's curse is in fact very, very real. I hope he doesn't have major damage.
I think he hit the rear. I think he will have some damage. I just hope it's not a lot, because we've got some fantastic racing from him, and if he's not got a lot of damage, I think we still can see some good racing from him. He's
also, we can see, fast. I'm sorry to cut you off, Andy, but we can also see Ashray and Moto, who did start last from the pit lane. They have overtaken Athul. Obviously, Ashray he's in the Beamer right now, and we can see Moto right behind in the McLaren.
Yup, they have. I think Athul's got some damage. He's not able to follow through the corner, or maybe a small hit right there. But yeah, I mean, this race has tumbled down a little bit for him. But yeah, good that you mentioned about Moto as well, who started from the pit lane and they're carving their way up. But yeah, I mean, a little bit sad for Athul right there. He was having a good race, and here we can see Satam. He's just a little bit alone at the moment, and that is a Porsche off. I couldn't see who it was, but that is a Porsche off there. No,
That
it
is
was.
also of Hamzahad. I'm pretty sure he got caught up in the inside of Atul only, trying to avoid him going through the route.
That is Fahad.
Okay, so we can see a first pit stop. Who was the?
That is S. Kumar, but I'm pretty sure he pitted for damage only. He had suspension damage at the start of the race. He got caught up in an incident. So unfortunate race for him. He has been stuck in the pit lane ever since then.
Yeah, and right now, obviously, Oxygen is leading the race. You know, he's about 4 seconds ahead.
Yep, Oxygen is still leading the race from Jay Patel. Super dominant drive from him. Faizan in third, defending pretty hard from now a little bit of breather from NGOG. I've been just constantly watching their battles. Faizan is doing a good job of keeping him behind so far. No attack from him this lap, but keep an eye out for that lap. We might have a pretty good battle for PT on our Raj pretty soon.
Yeah,
Oh yeah,
and
that is going to be a fantastic one. And we can see here that is a Porsche trying to pull a move on Faizan. He is following close by. He's gone a little bit on the grass. He is going to try and pull a move in the upcoming corners. Can he do something as we step up into Puhan? Let's see just how daring he wants to go. Does he want to get closer or does he want to pull it off for once and for all? He is a bit cautious through here. That is what I would do if I'm in his place. Cautious, just eke away the gap little by little and just pull the move at a place where it's confirmed, and he's very deep into that corner with his braking. He's got a lot closer, but while a lot closer you are running in the dirty air, you are not getting the entire airflow to your car, so you would need to be a bit careful as he can feel the car stepping out, but he is closer to Faizan than he has ever been, and I think the move's not very far from him. I think the bus stop chicane is where he can pull the move. He follows up the McLaren.
Yeah, and also we have Tanish here in the VC. Welcome, Tanish.
Thank you for having me. What all have I missed till now?
We missed a little bit of. You did miss quite a bit of action with Athul. He had a couple of moments. He went into the gravel and he did have a crash on top of Radion. So it is going very well. Oxygen right now is dominating the race, and we are with Team Moto and
Sorry to cut you off, Darky, but I'm pretty sure Moto is about to go for a move. Oh my god, Moto just made a mistake coming out of the Stavalo 2. But he was about to line up a move. He was about to make a move on Ashley. But don't count this out as well yet. I'm pretty sure on camera straight, the Moto will probably get Ashley.
You can't count out Moto, especially when you have a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
Okay, but why don't we have any leaderboard today?
I think we can see it in the stream. Yeah.
Can we bring up the leaderboard, please?
Move pulled round the beamer through here. He's gonna try and keep it on track. He is not able to keep it on track. I think he will have route. I think that's a car off into the gravel as well.
Yeah, and we can see he's following. He's trying to chase down S. Kiran, and
Kiran is obviously of cars ahead of him.
Yeah, and Kiran himself is trying to make a move on Hussein. So yeah, we'll see how Moto gets past all of these guys, and ABD is leading the train and he's defending very, very hard to keep that position. And we see Moto making a move into Puhan, and now he'll be trying to pick off Hussein so we get another position.
I think fairly easy for him. He's got the speed here. He is very close, unfortunately, to the car head, so he's gonna have to be a little more careful. So it's SK ahead in the Ferrari. Yeah, in the Ferrari right there. So, and then you have ABD ahead. Oh, he's trying to get
makes a
ABD
dive.
as well here.
What a move! And now we can see now he's right behind ABD, and they both are in the same car. Let's see if he gets a great exit. He does.
I think there's gonna be something happening. I hope not. But yeah, oh my god, round the outside and launching on, and I think the Ferrari's gonna overtake ABD as well. I think maybe he's like tumbled down a little bit. The wheels are banging here now. There's a little bit of contact right there.
Will he make a dive?
But there is massive contact right there between the two cars. I think ABD has in the user out of it, and Ferrari's just gotten up ahead. But big gainer for Moto, definitely. I think, what was that, 4 cars in a lap?
Yep. Yes, 4 cars in a lap, and that shows you how quick Moto is in this car. No matter what the car is, he is that quick.
Yep, he has been a versatile driver through all the different series that I've watched him, and I've been able to have the grace of not racing with him, but been able to present the series where he has raced. He is a versatile driver, he's a quick driver, and I've seen different shades of Moto in terms of driving. Nothing to say about him, but very quick and very rapid driver on pretty much all the days right there. And now I think the racing settled a little bit. I don't think major lot of stuff, cars have been spaced out. What's up with our leaders, Aaradhya?
Well, the gaps are showing pretty consistent, to be honest. Patel is starting to drop back from out of Oxygen now, and Oxygen is actually coming up to a back marker now. Sorry, that's my bad. He has not. He is still 56 seconds behind him. But yeah, still a pretty dominant lead by Oxygen. Faizan is actually catching up to Patel now. So that will be pretty interesting to see with Joji right on his rear bumper coming out of the Stavlo. So we might actually have a battle going on until bus stop chicane between them. If he might be able
What's
to
up with
outdrive
Athul?
him.
How is Athul doing?
Athul unfortunately has retired from the race.
Oh man.
So that's very...
I think
so that's
commentators should commentators owe Athul an apology.
Oh, and Athul is here after doing a small chunk of the race.
I had to hop in a bit. Just I was watching stream, and the pan on the cars were looking a bit squiggish. So let's run that on auto, yeah. And then my DNF was because I had heavy suspension damage. Just spun in the rouge.
Yeah, he looked like it.
Yeah, sorry Athul for that commentator's curse. We didn't expect you.
I was the one who was hoping you were picking off quite a few cars, and unfortunately that's been happened. Were you racing a car just ahead of you and you just had dirty air through there that caused a spin, or was it contact?
No, it was one of the contacts had some sort of a suspension.
Athul, I'm sorry to DNF you, but Faizan and Joji are fighting for PT right now. Can you go on board them?
Let's watch that.
Can you go on?
I think it's a fight for the podium place. If we can switch on to that is something exciting we want to see. I think the cars are getting a bit closer as we speak right now. They're going for a move into La Sauce as well. That's
okay. Joji
McLaren
has made a move. Yeah, he did make a move on.
He is ahead of Faizan.
Yeah, he has made a move on him. So yeah, I don't think Faizan is going to easily give it up. We have seen him in all different forms of racing. He's not going to give up. He's going to try and get that podium for himself. So let's see if Joji is quick enough to make a gap to.
And as we have Ashley and APD going side by side, and Ashley just pulled a switchback move on going to Lecom from APD.
That would have been beautiful to see on board. I mean, they are fantastic racers wherever I've watched them. So yeah, they are some good moves out there definitely today. I mean, the racing is definitely not disappointing. It's fun. We're seeing a variety of moves, and it's been fairly clean. I mean, we have seen some incidents and offs, but it's been a very clean race. I mean, we can see here 2 cars racing again. I just can't notice the names here. It's Gilbert and it's Faizan. Gilbert's just breathing all the fumes from the diffuser of the McLaren, and they're going through Blanchimont. He is going to try and outbrake Faizan, but who's going to outbrake who is a big question, because Now, I think Gilbert is a back marker, if I'm not mistaken.
No, this is
he
for the
is
position.
This for position. Wow,
This is
that's
for position.
fantastic. So 3 cars racing for the podium at the moment. We have Joji followed by Faizan, followed by Gilbert, all racing for the final place on the podium right now as our leaders ahead stretch out their advantage, and we've got a gaggle of cars in a train here led by Srivastav and who's that? But yeah, we've got quite a few trains of cars forming out, and that's what leading to a lot of action. I think we're gonna see some cars being picked off right here now.
I don't want to commentate curse on someone, but it is interesting to see that we are almost halfway through the race, and Sandeep Maridu has gone from P30 to P8, and is almost about to be on the back of the train of the leading car. As we are about to see a move for A. Gilbert going on Faizan through Lake Compton, we go on board them. Oh no, he backed up. But yeah, so don't even count Sandeep out of this battle for P3. He is also coming back up to this train very rapidly.
Definitely,
Yeah,
I mean, we
and-
can't count Sandeep out, but that long of a stint, will he be able to hold it up is a question that you will want to ask.
Yeah, I think the only pit stop is required for is fuel. I don't think drivers will be going for tires at this point. And I know Sandeep. You know, he's my friend. You know, I've raced alongside him. I know how quick he is, and this is a testament to how good of a driver he is. He's starting from back of the grid and he's already up to 8th. I know that after the pit stop he's going to be even further up. So yeah, we'll have to watch out for him. He's getting closer and closer to I don't want to butcher the name. I think it's Sulfi, and yeah, he is closing in. He's already, I think, only a few tenths behind him, and we can see. And we did see Hussein and ABD fighting alongside. It's a very close battle. Obviously, it's a 3-car battle for position right now.
And up ABD is gonna pull away a little bit here, but Hussein is definitely exposed to the car that's behind him, to that beamer. And ABD is gonna hope that they both have their own battle and he can just stretch his legs and move on out to the next gap that's ahead of him. Yeah, I mean, as you mentioned, they don't have to pit for tires. I mean, they don't necessarily have to. It's going to be just fuel. It's going to be that timing. And as we can see, ABD has got, I don't want to butcher the name either, the BMW, which is in a fantastic livery. I do like this livery quite a bit. Gaj BA, if I'm not reading it wrong. So he can pull a move. He's got a possibility, and he's doing the most thing ever, which is flashing the lights, switching on the turn indicators. Because beamer drivers just don't have turn indicators in their knowledge. And is he going to try and outbrake round the inside and take a little bit of a switch? And let's see what he can pull off into the zone. He can't do much. I think he will have to wait for another opportunity. But Hussein is also right within that tail. I think there was a little bit of contact here between Gilbert, Koji, and you've got Faizan. I think all three of these are still squabbling away for that final podium place. Nobody wants to give it up. Faizan, I think, has fallen a little bit foul of the hook thing here. I think Joji has been able to hold his position rather well.
Also, Tanish is here. So, Tanish, what are your thoughts on all the drivers that have been taking place in this race?
Well, it will be difficult to comment on those guys, but definitely right now what I'm looking forward is when these people will decide to pit. Because I think that will be the game changer right now. Because the person who will be able to extend, he might be saving a few seconds. And we never know on the different strategies that people have, like switching tires or just continuing with the same tires. It just makes or breaks a game for many.
Exactly, and we did see Oxygen in last season's final race at LMU itself. He did save his fuel, went on for an extra lap, and he was on the podium position. So we know how important and how good it is to save fuel, because the amount of gains that you will get is very big.
That is true. That is definitely true. And right now, as we are seeing RF Shakunt in a very comfortable lead right now, I won't be surprised if he being in the lead and still ends up going one lap longer than other guys from what I have seen from my experience. That man is very decent in terms of fuel saving.
Exactly. And right now we can see Sandeep, who has caught up to the pack. He's hunting them down one by one. And knowing Sandeep, he doesn't go for any aggressive moves. He's very calculated, and once he gets that opportunity, he's going to grab it. So, yeah, we can see him lining up the move, go into a rouge. All he has to do is be flat out and wait in the end. I think he didn't get quite a good exit, but throughout sector 2, I think he's going to be very close again.
Yep, what Sandeep can try in this situation is maybe try to, pit one lap earlier compared to these guys if he's getting held up too much, and then try to somehow cover that gap later. I know it might become tricky with the extra fuel, but it might also help him get past these guys. You never know.
Speaking of pit stops, I'm pretty sure a lot of drivers will be pitting this lap, especially our leader also Oxygen, because he only has 0.7 laps of the remaining or 6%. However, one interesting person that has came to my mind that has managed to save a lap of fuel is Moto in P16. I was quite surprised that why he was slow, but he, along with Kanak, has actually managed to save a lap of fuel. So it will be interesting to see where they come out after the pit stops.
That is quite interesting, because in the last Le Mans race of IRC Season 1, Le Mans, which was the final round, it was Oxygen who was 10% more compared to Moto, and today it's the exact opposite.
Yeah, and we can see, they're literally doing an Uno reverse right now. So we'll see how is it going to work here. Hopefully we can, get them. We can see a close battle between all three of them, and I think it'll be absolutely awesome to watch.
And as we say that, we have our leader Arushikant Oxygen in the pit lane for refueling. So let's see where he filters out after this. Maybe he might come out behind Moto from traffic.
It's time for Box Socks, with Abdul Muqid being chased by Hussein, if I'm not wrong. So, okay, as the race is proceeding, we might be seeing many people jumping into the pits, as Aaradhya said. As we see already, 4 drivers are already into the pits. And as we see Pakhale going into the pits in that Porsche. Behind him is Afzan, Thomas, Talari, and I think there's one more car. So it's a train of cars. The pit lane will be completely packed right now.
Yeah, and also another thing, this race, a lot of drivers have chosen the McLaren over the BMW. And I don't think we have talked about this. I think the McLaren is a very, very different car to the Beamer. So, it's good to see how these guys are, doing well in these cars, the new cars.
You never know. It might be people want to adapt to a different car, and McLaren, as always, I think it's a pretty, I won't say a common car, but a very, fun to drive car in any game that people go. So McLaren is a car that is chosen at least by one driver. So I think maybe it's just a different case today. There are multiple drivers today with that. But as we see people exiting the pits, I have one question for Andy, who is commentating with us for the first time in LMU. So, Andy, till today we have seen you commentate on F1 and see that close racing. How would you like to commentate on this or comment on this GT3 racing? How much did you like it?
I think it's been not quite as exciting as ICF1 races, but I think in terms of a strategic and technical element to it, there's a lot more thought process given. I mean, the entire thing works a bit differently, but at the end of the day, it is racing. And I feel, especially on Spa, the endurance cars are working out better in terms of racing as compared to, your open-wheeled F1 cars. So I am used to F1. I'm a bit of a newbie to this. I can't say that it is not another form of racing. End of the day, what we love is going fast and cars fighting, and this is just another rendition of that. And I look forward to being at more endurance races. It is certainly a different experience altogether, and something that I'm looking forward to genuinely. And I've seen the drivers drive with such grit. Athul just going through, picking off cars. Moto, who's pulled off a very, very smart fuel saving, and also some great moves right there. And Oxygen dominating along with other drivers fighting for positions. It's been a very eventful race. I did not like it at all.
Well, that were mixed opinions, but I would take them. Thank you for those opinions, Andy.
It'll get better. I think it's something that'll take me time.
For sure. So right now,
Kanesh, do you want to know a random fact?
yes,
I think you will like it. You know the BMW cars, they use a titanium exhaust for the GT3 cars.
Wow.
Yeah,
Okay.
and it is the same titanium that is used for Nirma's leg. So going forward, we can see Oxygen, who is about 7 seconds ahead of Patil, and he's in a net P1 right now. And obviously, Kanak has gone into the pits doing a bit of fuel saving. So let's see where he ends up, and will he make those gains with those fuel saving?
Well, that is one way to give a shout out to one of our members.
One thing I'd like to mention, Moto has done something wrong with his strategy, because for some reason he only put 2 laps of fuel in his car, and he has to pit again right now. He's in the pits again, Moto.
Wow.
Wow. Okay, that is a blunder and a half. But yeah, I think it's a bit too late. Maybe he can still make up some gains, but yeah, I think
His race over for him.
yeah, he's wasted at least 30 seconds in the pit lane.
That's gone. Unless something out of the blue happens, I don't see him ending up in a good position at all. So yeah, Aaradhya, if you can tell us who have been the biggest gainers here and the biggest losers apart from Moto, who's the obvious one.
Well, I think so. The biggest gainer has been Sandeep Maridu out of all of them. He managed to jump 3 places in top 5 right now and is in P5, charging down G Samuel. So has Faizan actually. Faizan has managed to get back his P3. We saw how hard he was fighting to try and keep it, but somehow he has managed to manage that. But it will be interesting to see where Gilbert and Outfitters, because I have no idea if they took new tires or just got unlucky in the pit lane. Who knows? If they are on new tires, we might see a late charge from them.
Absolutely. I mean, you never know what can happen, and we just have roughly about 15 minutes and 50 seconds left on the clock, and Shakunt leads from Patil with about a 5-second gap. Then got a massive gap to Faizan and then Samuel and Marido. And in the top 5, 3 of them are McLarens actually. So I think this car has been the car of choice here. As you rightly mentioned, there is probably a reason behind that. Don't get. I think the sole Mercedes has DNF'd. I think there is no Mercedes anymore racing. Correct me if I'm wrong there.
That is correct. Athul was the only one in Mercedes.
Sadly,
I'm
those
proud.
are-
I am proud being a Mercedes driver in this game.
Yeah, Athul was driving the Lamborghini last season, if I'm not wrong. So he's made a switch this season. So I guess there's something about the Mercedes.
There is something about the Germans that allures you. And that's Mercedes.
Yep, that's the perfect way to put it. And with this evaluation race, it might be giving us hints that a grid that was a BMW
Oh, and
majority
we
grid
can
last
see
season.
Kanak going off. We can see Kanak going off. So he's had a moment right there. Yeah, and he safely rejoins on track. So I don't think the tires should be that cold, but obviously.
I think he's just missed his braking point.
Yeah, he just missed braking point.
I
Also,
think
another thing is that, sorry to cut you off, Kanesh. Also, Faizan is still P3 because he was overtaken the last we saw him before the pit stops, and now he's back at the podium positions.
And one more thing is, Faizan will retain that P3 because the Samuel behind him has a drive-through.
Oh, wow, okay. And we can see Sandeep having contact. Yeah, and okay, that's 3 cars going side by side. I mean, that's how close the racing is.
This is interesting. We've got about 13 and a half minutes left on the clock as I speak. Do you think there's an outside chance for Maridu to be on the podium? He'll have to cover up approximately 6 seconds to Faizan.
Yeah, I mean 13 seconds to go. I mean, you know, he still has the pace. I mean, we have to see what lap times Faizan is doing on average.
I think Aaradhya can tell us about that.
So Faizan's last lap has been 2:23. Sandeep's last lap has been a 2:22.1. So he is gaining on him, and so has been A. Gilbert's. They both are gaining on him about a second per lap.
Tough, but I think it's doable.
Yeah, it is doable, and I think Sandeep could be on the podium. And one thing about Sandeep is, no matter where he starts, he does end up on the podium. So, you know, it's going to be that battle. And considering Sandeep started further back, I think it'll be a really, really good race for him.
As we see that the gap is not falling quite a bit. I think Faizan has gotten a bit closer to Patil, but still 6 seconds away. I don't think there's any headway he's making anytime soon. Unfortunately, Sandeep is suffering the car behind Gilbert, so he will have to make a move soon so that he can get some clear air, and I think he will make that here. He will get a little bit of a slipstream, so he will make his move going into a rouge through that area. So let's just see. Is he a little bit cautionary so that he doesn't get caught out? Or is he going to give it full beans?
Tanish, what do you think? Do you think Sandeep is going to get that podium, or is it going to be Faizan retaining that position?
Right now it might be Faizan retaining that podium, because from what I have seen, Faizan majorly makes mistakes or get into incidents if there are people close. If he is driving his own race, it's less likely that he'll make a mistake at this stage. But you never know. But right now, I think it's Faizan on the podium from what I can see.
Exactly. I think it's podium for Faizan to lose. I mean, right now, you know, one small mistake onto the gravel and you could be under pressure from Gilbert and Sandeep. So yeah, all he has to do is just be consistent. No need to push that hard, and I think that's a podium for him. Also, one thing was in season 10, it's not racing, but in season 10 in F1, Faizan actually won the Spa race with a 10-second gap. So you know, he's not really bad at this track, so he could be keeping the position.
A small way to put it, a Spa merchant.
Exactly.
Speaking of Spa merchants, Faizan has outcut his gap by about 4/10 to Patil. Patil has cut his gap to the leader by about half a second. So there are some moves you could possibly see made in the podium. I think more likely for Patil. He's progressing decently, but I think Shakunt is just managing his race at this point. He's going to up the pace the moment a car is going to get closer. I think he's driving a conservative race at this point.
Yeah, and still Oxygen is leading the race with a massive gap, 4-second gap, and you know, he's done an incredible job this race. And that, you know, goes to show that, you know, if you are consistent throughout the race, making mistakes, then, you know, you'll be in a really, really good position. And that's what we've seen him do in the previous season, and that's what we are seeing him do in this pre-season race as well.
One thing I will say though about endurance racing, based on the question that asked me earlier, I think it kind of makes you steam a little bit for the moments compared to F1. So you'll get a little bit more moments and a little bit of a closer racing in F1. So that kind of makes you active of a commentator and watcher, which is not the case in endurance racing. But I think it's kind of better in endurance racing in a way, because it does feel like you want it. There's a move right there.
Yeah, we can see Connor making a move. He's done a great switchback. And yeah, and you know, obviously he did go an extra lap, I assume, and yeah, now he's looking to
lovely exit out of Essos. That's a lovely exit. He's done a fantastic job of braking there.
Also, I think we can see Afzan and Thomas, who are very close to each other.
Yellow flag. That's cleared, I think. Yellow flag's cleared. Speaking
Yeah,
of
so-
gaps, Patil's gap is 3 seconds to Oxygen.
But
Okay, so
there's a dilemma I like to add to that. The all thing is that in LMU, once you get a certain amount of penalty points, you tend to acclimate a drive-through. And Patel, Faizan, Gilbert, and Sandeep, all of them had gotten penalty points last lap. So it is also interesting to see how many penalty points they have gotten. And Patel has again gone off the track this lap as well. So he may be risking a drive-through in order to catch Oxygen, which will drop him away further from P2.
I think for Patil right now, I think in his headspace, he has nothing to lose. So I think he's going all out. Obviously, that's not we would like to see with Travis. I mean, to each their own, but the main thing right now is for him to push within the track limits, and he could probably chase down Oxygen.
I mean, you have to sort of ask the question, would you risk a podium or a win? Or would you rather keep a podium and more conservative and maybe lose out on the win? But he is cutting down the gap. He's cutting a few tenths up, about 1 or 2 tenths. I think the depreciation has dropped a little bit compared to the earlier laps. But yeah, I mean, you could see someone like Gilbert on the podium if Patil does get a drive-through in this case. So outside chances for the podium are plenty, and Marido has unfortunately lost out. He's about 2 seconds behind Gilbert at this point. I mean, let's just do a quick roundup of the top 10. You've got Oxygen in P1, Patil in P2, Faizan in P3, Gilbert, then Maridu, then Pakale, then Surelia, then Thomas, Afzan, and the top 10 is rounded out by Talari, 30 seconds behind the leader.
Yeah. Tanish, what do you think are the challenges, especially when you are hunting down a driver, if for the win or for the podium?
While hunting down a driver, I would say it's not as big of a challenge, but when you are being chased, then it becomes a bigger issue because you have to constantly look behind and see where you are losing all that time to the driver behind. When you are behind or chasing a particular driver and you are closing in, it just gives you more confidence with your braking.
So sorry to cut you off, Tanish. Patil is within 2.5 seconds of Oxygen. The race lead is being eked out as we speak.
Wow. I think he has just decided now he's going all full send and he'll just see if we can get that win on track or not.
Absolutely, and I mean, let's just how Patil is. I hope he's not going to drive through. Has he, Aaradhya?
Nope, no yet. Oh, Oxygen has spun. Oxygen has spun from P1.
Oh,
You
no,
never
Oxygen
know
spun.
what can
Oxygen.
happen.
That is the pressure that comes when someone is chasing you. I think that just sums up what I was saying earlier.
I think we have cursed
gone.
another driver with Oxygen. As we are praising him, he has made a mistake. But yeah, like Tanish said, when you're being chased, the pressure is immense, and I think it has caught up to Oxygen. But if Oxygen can play his cards right, now he's the hunter, and his job is to put pressure on Patil himself.
5 minutes on the clock. He's 5.5 seconds behind Patil. I don't think it can be done at this point. I think it's just that he has to settle for a podium and play it safe. Otherwise, you've got Faizan behind just about 3.5 seconds. So let's not take that risk is what his mind should be going through, because you have an insurmountable gap for the lead. Patil is going to be very happy because essentially he's not had to take more risk. He can cruise to the end now.
Andy, but the one thing that we have in IRC is the last minute changes. So, no matter if it's 4 minutes or 40 minutes, you could see a change in the lead.
You are right. Have I not seen that in F1? That is just another commonality. All IRC races are this one thing. Anything and everything can happen, and as per Murphy's law in IRC races, it does happen. Never count anybody out. No big changes as I can see at the moment so far, at least up and down the grid. A little bit of going off into the gravel for some cars. A bit, just flirting with the lines right there. Have we got any new penalties, any new movements, Aaradhya?
So far, nothing. However, I like to say, Arsurella in P7, he has approximately 5 to 6% VE less than everyone else, and everyone else is pretty tight on VE themselves in whether or not they will make it to the line. So it will be interesting to see how he'll manage to get to the line.
How are our leaders doing on their VE?
All of them have about, so all top 5 have around 35 to 36% VE remaining. M. Parkley and Arsulilla, they are on 29 and 25%.
Okay, so
Consumption per
drivers there.
The consumption per lap is about 9 to 10% per lap VE. So that will be interesting to see.
With 3 minutes on the clock, it's going to be interesting to see which drivers are going to just about make the line.
Yeah, Joji getting the slipstream of. Is it Sufi?
Yeah, that's so. That is so.
Yeah, and we can see 3 cars going through. I mean, it's just a matter of who outbreaks and the move will be done. And we can see is that Joji who sends it down the bus stop chicane and makes a move and gets the move done.
We also have Faizan hunting down Oxygen now. I think so Oxygen tires are now completely dead. And so that is also interesting to see how Faizan manages to get past him now.
Yeah, they're within half a second of each other. Would you like to know a fun fact about the race lead right now?
Yeah.
Can you guess how much the gap is from Oxygen to Patil?
Yeah, could you tell me?
Roughly about 8 seconds.
My God, so Patil has been pushing that hard, so that shows how quick he was. He was just stuck behind, closing down, and once he has a clean air, he's off.
I think
it's more Oxygen tires have, and I think he might just be overtaken by Faizan here. Faizan could be looking at a P2 finish.
Yeah, he could be looking for a P2 finish. He's chasing down Oxygen. Obviously, Oxygen, with the spin, tire wear must have increased by a significant amount. So Oxygen is just trying to nurse his way to the line, and Faizan, who has right now nothing to lose but a lot to gain, just hunting him down. Literally corner by corner.
One more person to watch out for is the A. Gilbert behind him. I'm pretty sure he's on new tires compared to Faizan and Oxygen both. So who knows, maybe he might be able to out-traction them and send it into a corner or two, go for risky moves going on to the last lap of this race.
What, is Oxygen going to end up off the podium at this rate?
We might never know. Let's see how this last lap goes.
Last minute of racing. We speak 50 seconds. Just a little bit under 40 seconds on the clock. As we go into the corner, we see Shakun, Faizan and Gilbert. Gilbert is very close. As we speak, it's all about braking at this point. Who can outbrake each other? Who can get a better line through these final corners? But Patil will be very, very happy with how his race has turned out. I hope he makes it to the line before anything happens to him again by Commentator. But I think he's got a very healthy gap that he can nurse regardless of what happens to him, so just that he can get to the checkered flag within time.
Oh, and we can see Gilbert trying to make the move and Faizan defending very, very hard to keep that P3. And we know how Faizan goes on about defending. It could be sketchy at times, so he is trying really hard to keep Gilbert behind, and like Aaradhya said, Gilbert is having fresher tires, so he's looking to make a send on Faizan so he can make that move and hopefully get Oxygen for that P2.
Yep, and there's a yellow flag. I can't quite see for who, but it's still being waved, I believe. Could be there's some incident going on. No, it's off. Yellow flag's off.
We can see Motwani and Ashrey fighting for the position, and we are not two close battles. One for the podium position and the other one for the 21st position.
Interesting question, Aaradhya. Where is Moto at the moment?
Moto is P23, so this clear fuel saving strategy has not worked out, and Ashrey has gotten a drive through now as well. So that will be interesting to see how far it drops them down. As we have a spinner, a McLaren spinner of the Marlboro livery. I'm not sure who fight that is.
Can we go back to Gilbert? Can we go back to Gilbert? Yeah, okay, he's very, very close to Faizan. I think he's going to try and send it down the bus stop chicane. He goes, oh, and he makes slight contact with Faizan. And yeah, I think that's one more lap of race.
No, this is last lap. This was the last lap.
This is the last lap.
I think that's our podium places confirmed for the race. I believe, Gilbert could have done something a little bit more Faizan-like there. So I would have hoped that of him. Yeah, I mean, it is racing. Some people are just fair to the line. Some people are fair as soon as the green flag is on. Are not fair as soon as the green flag is on. My bad.
Yeah, it's been an incredible race. A lot of close battles. We've seen a lot of tries. You can see, obviously, Moto making a contact with Motwani, and it's not been a very good race for Moto, but that's how it is. They are slowly getting up to speed, and I think it's just a bad race for Moto.
I think decent damage limitation for Oxygen. He's P2, Khan is P3, and Patil, our surprise winner. That's in P4. Maridu's great recovery to P5. Pakhale in P6. Ilya in P7. Thomas is in P8. Talari is in P9. The top 10 is rounded out by Afshan. We have two McLarens on the podium and a spinning Porsche. Another spinning Porsche by the name of Afzan, I believe. And they're just doing their donuts. My apologies, as I said, to this kind of racing.
Who's been your driver of the day, Andy?
I mean, I would like to say that I don't care about the finishing positions. I like to give it out for effort more often than not. I think it's a very close fight between Athul, and as much as I hate to say it, I think Moto tried something. I think it was a little bit daring to do. Others would not have tried it. It's a good try, but sadly didn't end out. If you're talking about just results, I feel Patil's driven a very consistent and a very safe race. He's not taken a lot of caveat. So he's not taken a lot of risk. I think that's a very nice way to race, honestly.
Yeah. Also, I want to give a shout out to Sandeep, who did start further back in his up to P5. So really good race for him as well. Also for Faizan, he's held that podium. Good race for him, and Oxygen just unlucky. Had that small mistake, and it did cost him the win. So yeah, that's our race for today. Summed up, it's been an incredible race. I just want to thank our streamer Nitro for streaming us the race, Aaradhya for spotting all the incidents and all giving us all the info that we need, and Andy, who has been hosting with me. So thank you, good night, and hopefully we see you guys sign up for LMU.
Yep, excited to see more races here. One day I'll be back to race when that one day is. I certainly hope not anytime soon for the other drivers.